and welcome to another Get At It Gaming Plus podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ben.
And I'm Alex.
We got a great show for you guys today. Light on the news week, very light on the news week, but we got some good stuff. We're going to talk about maybe Game Boy on Switch, possibly. We're also going to talk about our 5 favorite video game characters of all time. And I know that this week's going to be crazy because I went to Comic-Con and I have like a lot of hidden treasures. So good show here. You can always check us out. This episode will be available on your podcast services every Wednesday with a video version on YouTube every Friday. But as we get into our show, Alex, do you have a hidden treasure or what you've been playing?
Not really. Let's be honest here. I haven't really done much. The only thing I really did, take it out of the old Super NT. Oh wow, this is tight. Okay. The only thing I've really been doing for audio listeners, I'm gonna hold this up, which is Chrono Trigger, for the Super Nintendo. I've been playing this, streaming this. I don't know how long you were there, Ben, during that, but I got to the final boss. And I got to the final form of the final boss, and I died.
I did see that. I was like in between. At first, I was playing Halo, and then I was rage quitting Halo. Pissed me off so bad. But I did see that. But then I was like, I gotta go to bed.
Well, that's when I was like, I need to go to bed, and people were like, no, go do it again. I was like, no, I don't. Do you realize that I don't stream for a living, and I also am already just tired in general, always. So like I can't do that. I'm sorry.
Alex and I have had previous conversations about how old we are and how we used to be able to game for like hours. And now the thought of gaming for hours makes my back hurt.
The only time I've done that as of recent years was a couple years ago when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. I don't know. Maybe it's the thought of like it's like a youthful game or something, or maybe because I was just really excited for this game. But yeah, no, I played hours of that game in a row. But that was the last one I can think of where, and unless we're counting something like Dragon Quest Builders or something like that, where you just kind of just like lose track of time. You're not really like actively trying to play for a long amount of time. But once you see the time, you're like, oh yeah, I guess I am tired.
I mean, that Ghost of Tsushima, I don't even want to know how many hours I have into that game.
Or people with Animal Crossing.
Yeah, like I will play Animal Crossing for like 2 hours, gathering sticks or whatever.
Yeah.
Or just fishing, which is crazy. Yeah, so I get you on that. Anything else you're playing or any hidden treasures? Or?
Not really. I need to get back to Kirby, but I was really annoyed by when it kept crashing on me that last time. So I haven't really touched it since. So I don't think it's the game cartridge's fault, because the last time I did play it, it didn't crash on me. I think it wasn't seated correctly, so I took out the cartridge and put it back in, and it seemed to be fine. So we'll see if I ever get back to that. I don't know. I really don't know if I'll ever get back to it, because it just kind of killed the hype for me. But I'd like to play it because I was really enjoying it. I don't think it'll be a streaming game anymore, though.
I mean, I liked watching you stream it. I mean, I will probably eventually get it.
Yeah.
It does look fun. I feel like there's not very many platformers anymore. But that does look fun. So
yeah, I will. I stressed this before in the previous podcast, but I don't like the demo because it's really basic, and it does the first couple levels there, but it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't showcase the game super well, because it's the generic powers that you've already seen before, and then there's a couple of those mouthful mode things, but they're things that we already saw in the trailers. So that's not interesting as a demo. It's just kind of boring. But if you play the other levels feel like they actually have more thought put into them. And the upgrade system for the powers is really cool. There's a lot of things to be seen in Kirby. And if you like chill games, if you're not, or even if you're not super good at games, I guess I would say, but you want to still enjoy them, I think Kirby's a good one, especially because you can have a co-op partner there, local only, who would play as Bandana D, I believe. So like you're the Waddle Dee with the
That
little
that
thing.
idea is really cool, by the way.
Yes. Yeah, I love it when Kirby games give you the option for any sort of multiplayer. Um, the last Kirby game, which was honestly kind of boring, but I enjoyed it, was Star Allies. I played it and beat it with a friend. We co-opted the whole game together. We got 100%, and it was really fun. We beat it when it first came out, and afterwards, then they started adding more and more characters and more things to it. So like that's a full game now. So I would have highly recommend if you like a 2D Kirby. It's really easy, but it's really fun. That has a ton of characters that you can play as. You can even play as like bosses from the old games, like Marks, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm still very saddened that I don't own Kirby for NES. It's on my list. It's on my list.
I
Uh,
don't think it's that expensive either, is it? It's just you just don't see it anywhere.
and I've gotten to the point of not buying stuff on eBay because I have gotten burnt really bad.
Yeah,
Hence, Alex will tell you about my Tiny Toons NES game.
yeah,
It's it's horrible shape.
yeah.
Do you know what's funny? I got it booted this weekend and it worked.
Okay.
So we just need to open it up and see what's broken on the
See if
inside.
there's just a roach in there.
The worst is those Blockbuster stickers are all over it.
So I hate and like that. I hate it because you can't get them off a lot of times, but I like it because I know it's authentic.
Right,
So
right.
like that's the thing. My Chrono no, not Chrono Trigger. My Secret of Mana has like a video, like a movie gallery video update sticker on it, I believe. Um, and so I'm just like, all right, cool. I know this is officially legit because it has one of these stickers. So all
Yeah,
right. But granted, I only bought that game for like $30. So like whatever. Back
yeah.
then.
It's crazy, you know, that nostalgia. But and that game's gone up in price. So I think I paid like $15 for it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get that game for $15 now.
Yeah.
It's up there in price. It's going up there in price because it's harder to get. Uh, so yeah. Is there anything else, or
Not really. Nothing too much
I
else.
I have quite a bit. So I did go to Comic Con. First off, for the everyone here, I stood in line and I got Nolan North's signature on the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. Which thank you, Alex. I kept trying to buy copies, and they were all either the greatest hits or it was the European version. But he signed this for me, and that's awesome. That was really cool. But at Comic Con, which I'm going to say this right now, if you're a vendor and you listen to our podcast, I'm sorry. I negotiate everything. I do. But some of these prices were like, wow. I was telling Alex some prices, and even he was boggled at these prices on anything that was like retro gaming. Um, they had this retro box there, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. What is that, like $70? And it played like Super Nintendo. It was like a Raspberry Pi box,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
Um, that thing was like $400. I was like, you're selling that at Comic Con. How many of these do you think you're gonna sell?
Also, you're selling it for $400. Let me call Nintendo up really quick and let them know what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and the guy that was trying to pitch it to me, Alex, is like that old school like salesperson. It reminded me of like the wax seal guy or whatever the guy is.
Oh, flex tape.
Flex seal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I'm thinking like, if it's like under $100, I will buy it. All it is a Raspberry Pi in a metal box with a ton of emulators, and the UI looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it's worth like $399 and like $299 and $399? No.
Why is it worth that much? Is it because it has all the games already on there? So he's selling you ROMs of games that are illegal?
Yep.
Okay. Billy
Which is
Mays, come on, man.
it was hilarious because he was like, he goes, "Dude, what did you buy today? Did you buy anything?" Like I said, well, I bought some NES. He goes, this has all of the North American and Japanese on there. It's got arcade games, it's got Game Boy, it's got Genesis, it's got PlayStation 1 and 2. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Emulators are great, but like, good lord. I mean, now you're talking like $300 is a lot for that. Where I could buy a Raspberry Pi and probably do my own programming on it.
Well, not only that, like I don't really condone emulation and piracy, but like the whole point of that is to do it for free. And you're charging an arm and a leg for it. It's kind of counterproductive to
Right.
your business model.
I mean,
You're stealing stuff and you're trying to sell it for $500.
I am okay with the preservation of games. And a lot of these NES games, like Little Samson, you and me are not going to be able to own a Little Samson. Probably. It's like $6,000. I mean, you may go, hey, I'm going to drop $6,000 on it, but you don't take me as the time to spend $6,000 on an NES game. And so to be able to play it would be cool.
It would be. If you want to send us a Little Samson, tweet at us, DM us. We'll appreciate it.
That'd be great. In box and graded, that'd be even better.
Yeah.
But that was my high horse. Some people were willing to negotiate. So some of the big titles I got for the audio view, I got Hook on NES. This one I've been looking for a while. I got Punisher on NES, and this is a clean copy.
I was trying to look for that for you when I was out and about.
Yeah, it's not one we see out. And then one that I got a good price on was City Connection.
Yeah, that game's fun. I like that game. I played it on the Nintendo Switch Online.
And it's funny because this was somebody else's, but they put not, and now there's another name on the back. So
nice. Now you know it's really legit.
Yeah. And NES games are expensive anyway, but I saw some stupid pricing there. But that, and then of course I've been playing Halo, which it just makes me mad more than ever. If you are playing Halo and you are not playing with your own group of friends, you are not going to ever move up anywhere in the story. I am gold level 3, and I cannot move any further because I get on one good team and then one trash team. But I digress from my going off on that because it is stupid as crap.
Maybe someday I'll pick it up. You know, maybe I'll pick up the torch again and I'll start playing.
You know, I've played with Spencer a couple times and he's really good, so I've made sure to up my game. But if you jump on, we need one more person, and we can have our own team. And that way, if we lose, we can all yell at each other. So
it's true. Yeah. I haven't touched Halo since it came out. I have Game Pass and everything. I did play a little bit of Halo 5 a while back when I got my Series X, but because I want to play that first.
I've never finished it.
Yeah, I just know Nathan Fillion's in it, and he was hanging around. Have you? Do you have anything else? Because I have one other thing I wanted to say.
Oh no, that was my extent there.
Okay. Last week or a week and a half ago, I think I talked about it. Yeah, I did because I talked about Spider-Man 3. I bought the Sam Raimi and Amazing Spider-Man films on Blu-ray. So I've watched the Sam Raimi trilogy. And I've watched Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. I still need to watch Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then finally I will be watching No Way Home, the newest Spider-Man on 4K here shortly. I don't need to rewatch the other Tom Holland films. I've seen them recently enough to where I don't need to. Sam Raimi trilogy. One is still a really enjoyable film. I like it a lot. I really like Willem Dafoe. He makes that movie excellent. Spider-Man 2. Boring movie. I'm going to say it right now. It is a really boring movie. Dr. Octavius he's good at his job and his part, and he does have good moments. He doesn't show up really in the movie until halfway through, whereas with Sam Raimi, whereas with Willem Dafoe in the first movie, you see like shot with him dealing with his company and the serum or whatever, the goblin serum, and then you see Peter dealing with his stuff. Like you see the duality of man. You see both of them dealing with new powers and stuff like that, and how they choose to use them. So like it's really cool to see that. With Spider-Man 2, like there's a lot of awkward, horrible scenes. I talked about this. I don't know. Did I talk about Spider-Man 2 last week?
I think you did, yes.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go off on it again really quick. So like Spider-Man 2, it has that awkward scene where like he's swinging before his pizza time, and then it has him like in the closet. Yeah, I think I talked about it. And he's just like trying to push up the mops, and they keep falling down, and that it felt like 5 minutes, and it was really only probably 40 seconds, but it was 40 seconds too long. Like one mop could fall down, sure, and then him put it back up, and that's it. Don't just keep doing it. It was really horrible. But yeah, like yeah, that movie's boring. I do like Alfred Molina though as Dr. Octavius though. He's really good. And then the ending is pretty good too. Spider-Man 3 better than Spider-Man 2, I'm going to say it.
Really?
It was a more enjoyable film. The only problem we had with it when I was watching it with my friend is one, they don't really know what to do with Sandman, but he's really good at what he does. And Venom shouldn't have been in the movie at all. Eddie Brock could still exist. The black suit could still exist. Just tease Venom for a next movie. New Goblin, like I will say, like the final fight or whatever, like he didn't need to exist and all that. It was kind of dumb and weird. But seeing like New Goblin and Spider-Man work together at the end was really hype and really cool to see. Like, man, these two people are buddies. They know each other's secrets. They're fighting together. This is awesome. And then spoilers for an old movie, and then Harry dies. You're just like, oh, all right. But like yeah, there's a lot of cool moments in it. There are a lot of dumb cringy moments, but like, you know, like when he gets all emo whenever he wears the suit. But like paying attention more to it now, it's hilarious because he thinks he's really cool, like in that scene, like where he's like dancing around and like walking around doing like the finger guns everywhere. All the women look repulsed by him. It's hilarious because like he thinks he's just hot and just everything, and then you just see everyone else just be like, what is happening? He's so annoying. And that's what makes it really good, is that he has this overconfidence about it. And yeah, I don't know, the game, that movie's very enjoyable, I'm gonna say that. I think it's
how much was that trilogy?
The trilogy I got for like $20 some on Blu-ray. There's a 4K version for $50, and that has a recut of Spider-Man 3 that I have not watched.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. That's actually not a bad price.
Yeah, I just didn't buy the 4K because I was just like, I don't need to spend $50 on that right now. So
I'm not even gonna tell you what I spent on my Transformer box set.
Well, I don't know. Like I'm a fan of these movies, I would say, but at the same time, I was like, I kind of just want these to show up as fast as possible, and I just want to watch them. And I just don't want to watch them on DVD because that's why I had the Sam Raimi trilogy on originally. And yeah, it's just not a great time there. But watching Amazing Spider-Man, very good, excellent film. It's a really good film. I hate how people crap on it. The second one probably deserves more of that stuff because of how they're adding too many villains like Spider-Man 3. But I remember really liking the ending of Amazing Spider-Man 2. But seeing the Lizard do stuff was pretty cool. Seeing my favorite scene in Amazing Spider-Man is the scene where Andrew Garfield is rescuing the kid for the first time and like actually rescuing someone. And then he takes off the mask and he's just like, yo, I'm just a normal guy. And he like gives the kid the mask, and then he's like, the mask gives you powers, come out of the car. And then like he rescues the kid. It's just something like that Spider-Man would do.
Yeah. And I think he did an amazing job in that. And there was more anger when Uncle Ben died in that one than there was in the first one, and like in the Sam Raimi versions. So I like both versions. I think both versions are great.
Hmm.
I actually liked the love interest actress better in the Amazing Spider-Man. I don't think Kristen Dunst does it for me. I don't think she was that good of an actress. Now Zendaya is perfect. I love her acting ability.
Yeah, she's really
Uh,
good too. But yeah, Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield were dating at the time. So
yeah,
you can really tell. So like they're really good at acting around each other. And then also Mark Webb, which hilarious that his name is Mark Webb, the director, making a Spider-Man movie there, Webb. But he directed and did like 500 Days of Summer. So like he knows how to do romantic comedies and things like that. So
yeah,
to make Spider-Man a romantic comedy, like it did really well.
yeah. I was very much impressed with it. So, but as we go on from this tangent, let's talk about Game Boy on Switch because if I remember correctly, uh, this is one of my picks for the year. Am I correct? If I remember correctly on that one.
Um I think you may be correct. I also think you should still buy GTA, so I can win something at
I
least.
mean, I didn't get all of the PlayStation Plus right, but I did get a percentage of it right. And if this happens, I would be getting 2 points there. So, and I'm being strong about GTA because you know what? I actually almost did it. I almost did it. And I was like, you know what? I'm never going to play through this story. I've played through it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I booted up the free one for online, and I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm done. This is dumb. It doesn't look any. It controls exactly the same. Uh, I'd rather play Saints Row. I said it.
Wow.
I know that's gonna piss a lot of people off, but I'd rather do that.
I'm looking
But
here right now. Um, Nintendo Switch Online will add Game Boy in 2022. Your um thing was so vague that or not specific enough that you're gonna get a full point there. Whereas with your PlayStation Plus, we'll have a new higher price, but we'll add new features. Approximately $70 is what you said. So that killed you. You have half a point now because of that.
I will take a half a point. I do think with this here, this is the third time that we've had somebody come out with a leak saying that it's coming. And there's Game Boy there. Like I'm looking, there's Game Boy, there's Game Boy Advance. Uh, I picture it both coming to the system. And why wouldn't they? Why would they not do it? Um, I don't know what their numbers are from their plus, but I don't think their numbers are very well, and I could be wrong in that. But I don't think their numbers are as good as what they thought they was going to be for adding N64 and Genesis. To be honest,
Yeah. I'm honestly not sure. There is a list somewhere, and I don't know where exactly it is, but like basically, yeah, this was leaked. Nintendo Game Boy Advance emulator was found. And it seems to be not a leak like where like someone stole stuff from a server. It seems to be that it was a dev kit that had it, and there are modded switches that have this now on it. Um, so like there are screenshots of like it working with switches. There was a 4chan like thread about it, which explained a lot of it. Um, but like yeah, it's called Sloop, I believe, is what it is, and these emulators were made by Nintendo Europe Research and Development, or nerd, and they helped with the mini consoles. So yeah, so like this stuff is it's real. Some of the
um,
games that were shown off that they tested with were Fire Emblem, uh where let's see, Pokemon Ruby, I believe. You can see here pinball and stuff like that. But I know there's stuff even like Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, like the original Chain of Memories was on there. Mega Man Battle Network, uh, 1, 2, and 5, I think of that. Um, yeah, there's endless possibility here. We could see a lot of stuff here.
Now, do you think they're gonna do, instead of putting it on Nintendo Switch online, instead? Now, this is a thought. What if they did a classic system where it would look like a Game Boy, but or something along those lines, but it would still plug into your
Nah,
TV? You think
nah,
that's dead
that
in the water?
that ship has sailed. They're not gonna do that anymore. The only reason why they're making classic systems is because they didn't really have any IP or anything to release in those years. I feel because those are still kind of dead years. Um, but like they're really cool and stuff, but there comes a certain point where like I don't think they're ever going to release a Nintendo 64 classic system now because the Nintendo Switch can do it. um
Yeah, and I think it will add more life to the Nintendo Switch. To be
yeah,
honest,
and
Eh,
I'm pretty sure this is going to show up on the expansion pass. I don't think, because there have been people speculating like, are they going to charge more for the expansion pass? Of course not. They just announced a price hike. They're not going to make you pay even more right now. Although this could be on the horizon, like or this could be further away. It's possible this won't be 2022. They're just testing it out right now.
that is true. Um, it would make sense for them to sell more Wii's to add this on there.
Mm.
Um, I think in the holidays also we're gonna get a price drop in the online, because I do feel like they're not where they wanted to be in it,
I don't
and
think
they're gonna,
so. I don't think
you
it's
know,
gonna. I don't think it's gonna go down. I think they're just gonna add more value to it. I feel like Mario Kart probably is the straw that broke the camel's back on that. Mario Kart, really good deal, excellent deal.
I don't doubt that if you're a Mario Kart person, to add those 48 extra tracks, it pays for itself.
Well,
Uh,
there's Mario Kart, there's the Animal Crossing thing,
yep,
and there's the Genesis and N64 right there. Like that's like it is worth it for all of those. Even if you don't like all of those things, there's one thing for at least one person of uh at least maybe a couple people in a family plan or
yeah,
whatever. So
and
like yeah,
I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I hope this is true and it happens. It might get me to do the expansion, but
good.
I already know right now that I'm going to be paying more for the PlayStation Plus,
Hmm.
and I want to see a list. I want to see a list before I pick my plan. Uh, but if it's an amazing list of PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 titles, yeah, I'm done. I'll do the top tier all
Hmm.
day long. But this might push me to that, Nintendo Family Plan, the top tier, which would be $80. Which, uh, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I still think this summer they're gonna do a Nintendo, a big, huge one that's gonna be over an hour. They're gonna do one. Xbox is gonna do one, and then Sony will do one.
What I'm
They,
gonna be really upset with um is if they use this to release Mother 3. I'm gonna be really upset if they do that. I want to buy that game. I don't want it to be stuck behind a paywall every year.
yeah, that's what's gonna suck, because a lot of the games right now on NES, uh, they're just so much more expensive,
Hmm.
you know, and we've talked about it before. Even the Super Nintendo, some of those games are really expensive. N64, really expensive. Plus, you have to buy something to play it on. So it's nice in that aspect. But if you want to have the physical copy,
Hmm.
they may be just cheap and put it out on this.
Although it makes me think of, remember the NES and SNES Switch Online were out at the time, but there was a the Fire Emblem, when they released Fire Emblem, the original one for NES, onto the eShop, and you just paid a certain price for it, and then it just disappeared after that. Like you just couldn't buy it anymore. Because I don't know if it did it ever show up anywhere else or is it just gone.
It's just gone.
Okay, because I bought it because I was like, I don't want to lose this. I don't even like Fire Emblem, but I was like, I don't want to lose this because just in case it disappears for some weird reason. Because I thought it was gonna like, okay, well, it's gonna be gone, and then it'll eventually come to Nintendo Switch Online because like you bought it for a little bit, you got the exclusivity, you got to play it for like a few years. Now we're just bringing it to the system now. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I wonder if they're gonna do something like that with Mother 3, because if they're having this emulator, then they could potentially just release a ROM of of Mother 3 and just do that. But
Yeah, it's. I think if we hear about it, it will be in the summer when E3 was supposed to happen, and they will do a showcase of some sort, and they'll show it off.
yeah,
Um, and I think this, and they'll show whatever they're doing. You
yeah.
know, because that was what E3 was. Is like, hey, let's push our products for after the new year, but let's really push our products for the holiday. Like
Which
that's
makes
the
me
thing.
wonder, what are we gonna see during that time if Zelda is delayed?
I think this will be one of the things they talk about. I think there'll be maybe a new Game and Watch. Maybe they've not really done a Donkey Kong, and there was a Game and Watch with Donkey Kong.
Hmm. Yeah,
So, which would be awesome to have, Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Junior, and Donkey Kong Math. Which, if you tried to buy Donkey Kong Math right now on NES, it's a couple $100.
oh, I'm sure.
You know, uh, so and that'd be easy to port on there because they've got what 4 Zelda games on the Zelda one.
Yeah.
But there was a Donkey Kong one that I remember, I think. And
Hmm.
so maybe that, and they'll show a couple games that are coming out that are not as big. And yeah, we'll go
Hmm.
from there. And I think they'll this will be something they're trying to push for that because this would be a huge thing for people. People saying, oh my gosh, to play Mega Man Battle Network, you know, those
Yeah.
games have been off the systems for a while. And to be able to play them on your Switch, done. I remember playing the first one, I want to say, and it was a lot of fun. So,
I bought the first one on Wii U Virtual Console, but I mostly played the second one because the second one is the one that everyone liked the most for Battle Network.
and those ones have gone up in price as well.
I was personally more of a fan of Star Force, which were the games on the DS. It was still Battle Network, different characters and stuff. But it was essentially Battle Network, but in more of a 3D thing. So it was more of behind the Mega Man EXE, or
Yep.
whatever, and you would like move in that grid space that way, instead of just seeing the two side by side. Um, yeah, I would love to play Kingdom Hearts again, the actual one. I mean, I bought an analog pocket, so whenever that shows up, I mean, I have Kingdom Hearts still for my Game Boy Advance, so like I can definitely play it there. So I'm excited for that. But to have it on something like this, I mean, the novelty of just having other people experience it, because like that's not, you can't play it that way anymore because there is no way to play it. It was only released on Game Boy Advance, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things. I mean, yeah, Metroids, both of the Metroids, Zelda Minish Cap,
Those
the
metrics are awesome on there.
yeah, the remakes of some of the Mario games, like the Super Nintendo games, like they did them all on there, like the Super Mario Advance versions of the games.
I think 1, 2, and 3 were
Yeah,
on.
yeah, and even I mean, if we're just talking about Game Boy Advance, like I mean, it's a Game Boy Advance emulator, but Game Boy Advance runs Game Boy, so like all the Wario Land games, um, I love Wario Land 4. Like that's my favorite one out of all of them. Because it has that speed running thing at the end. Like when you beat a level, you have to just like race to the finish line as fast as you can again. Um, but yeah, there's just a lot of games for sure that are here. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, like yeah, and we'll find out about the Mother 3 thing by if it comes out on the Nintendo Switch Online for Japan versus not us. We'll see. Because that's a possibility. That they might just release it for that only for some dumb reason. But I mean, I have a Japanese account, but I also own the game physically, so um,
Well, it definitely would be interesting to see. And I know no one yet has announced what they're doing or any showcases or any sort of online shows.
mm-hmm.
But I think by May, we'll start hearing about some of those shows of what they're going to be doing because Sony always did one in May.
Yep,
Microsoft did theirs in June.
yep,
Nintendo did theirs in June.
yep.
And we may even see like a Square Enix and a Capcom one happen on those times as well.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's gotten so used to do them on YouTube, schedule them, and just do a live event there.
Yeah,
So we'll have to wait and see. But this is really cool news.
yeah, for sure.
Moving on to the next topic, there wasn't a lot of video game news. I mean, obviously, everyone's talking about the new Thor teaser trailer. What we want to talk about is our top 5 favorite video game characters of all time. Uh, and as we were talking before the show, we've got a pretty diverse list, uh, which is crazy because I don't have any NES on here. I don't have any old school stuff on my list. But to me, these are ones that had really good impacts. And NES was really hard to get like a good story with the impact of the character and plot.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alex, what is your first one? And these, by the way, are in no order whatsoever. They are just top 5. We actually just talked about it about 5 minutes before we started recording.
Yeah, so if you talk to me in like a week from now, these might be different or they might be the same. I really don't know. Man, I have 6. Oh man. Oh well. I might throw someone away. To go off of a recent movie I've seen, Sonic the Hedgehog. Iconic blue hedgehog. Shoes, gotta go fast. I recently purchased it's in the May, or it's I don't think it's been processed yet, but I did buy Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog on SD Blu-ray. Since Discotech, the people who I enjoy, who release all my Lupin and Detective Conan movies and other things, they preserve movies, or and they like they fix stuff as well. So like Lupin the Third Part 1, for example, like that's a really old anime, so like they fixed it and like made it cleaner and all that kind of stuff. They did the same thing for the Sonic the Hedgehog, so I'm really looking forward to that because like Sonic the Hedgehog, when I was a kid, I didn't own a Genesis. I had a I had like cousins and stuff who owned Genesis and stuff like that, but my thing for like getting into that fandom when I was younger were the Game Gear. So I played a lot of the Game Gear games, Sonic 1 and 2 on there, uh, Spinball a lot. Horrible at that game. But I should probably switch to that. But what I also remember a lot were like the TV shows, the comic books. There was a lot of stuff about Sonic that wasn't just a video game. He was more than Mario. He was a cultural icon. Like Mario, yeah, had like the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and stuff, but like I don't know. There's a certain time where like I feel like Sonic was, um, at least in America, maybe for a little bit, a little bigger than Mario, um, just because of all of the multimedia properties and all this kind of stuff with them. Like Mario is still like known for video games and stuff always, but when you think of Sonic, like I'm curious to see what people think of. Do they think of Sonic the Hedgehog like the video games, like the old ones? Do they think of Sonic Adventure, Adventure 2? Do they think of Jaleel White as Sonic like in the old cartoons? Like I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people think of the cartoons. Like honestly.
When I remember on the school bus, the arguments when Genesis was like popular, most kids either had a Super Nintendo or they had a Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Sega Genesis for the longest time before I got a Super Nintendo, and it was crazy because people were like, "Oh, Mario's the best," but Sonic moves the fastest. Watching Sonic for the first time and playing it, I was just in shock on how fast it was going. You know, um, and he definitely is an iconic character that's been able to not only strive, or, live through Sega no longer doing consoles, but he's Sega's main mascot. You know, uh,
Yeah.
we've had games come out, some good, some really not good, but
Yeah.
also, the point is everybody knows Sonic like they know Mario. Like if you were to walk into like Times Square or anywhere else in the United States and go, "Hey, who is this?" Oh, that's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Has
They know who.
Mario ever had a balloon in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade? Has Mario?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay, because I feel like Sonic has had it more.
In the last recent years, there's not been a Mario,
Okay.
but there's always a Sonic the Hedgehog,
Yeah.
always. Uh, but no, like, and I've watched the Macy's Day Parade every year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, they have a Stewie Griffin every year now. So,
It's crazy.
yeah, uh, that's what's funny when you told me your list, I was like, okay, that came to mind, but not surprising. That's who you picked. Uh, One of the ones I picked, which is no surprise, is from a little game called Ghost of Tsushima Jin Sakai. And the reason I picked him is emotionally the story is where it was. His character was dealing with the Mongols invading his country, um, not fighting like true samurai, him having to adapt and him having to break tradition to save his people,
Mm-hmm.
and watching his emotion and watching him be upset and watching him like knowing that what he's doing right now is not samurai way, breaking tradition, breaking the rules of a samurai, like sneaking up on people and poisoning people and you know stabbing someone from behind and then hiding the body. That's totally not the samurai way. Um, and watching him like deal with this not only to save his people but just internally what it's doing to him is fantastic. And he was a hero of Tashima, even though the samurai were like, in his uncle
Yeah.
were like, no. Now, spoiler alert, by the end of the game, after you kill the Mongols, you end up fighting your uncle for the last time. And you make a decision whether you want to kill him with honor or let him live.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene is very, very like well acted. Um, I I hope they do another game because this game was amazing. The combat after they did a couple updates was great. Um, you couldn't just go in and just start slashing everywhere. You really had to parry, and you had to make sure you're you know in the right direction, and the controls were tight.
Yeah,
To
the
this,
different
so
stances and all that kind of stuff.
yes. So like this guy that's like the bigger guy with a shield, you want to move to this stance, like a water stance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but just everything about his character was so well done and so well acted, and it had me invested in the story. You wanted to finish the game. It reminded me of a Japanese movie called 13 Samurai,
Mm.
which was based off. I don't think it was based off a true story, but it could have been about 13 Samurai that took on a whole bunch of other samurai and a very bad, prince.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which by the end of the movie, there was only one that lived. So, uh, but it definitely had that feel. And like as you help people and save people, and yeah, his character, just watching him battle this battle he's going through, just were awesome. So that was my pick. What about you? What's your next pick, Alex?
See, I'm
And
not sure what I want to say because I told you I have 6 here now. Um, So I don't know who I'm gonna throw away. I had Mario on here and stuff. I don't think I'm gonna say him. Like I don't know. Enough said about Mario. I think it's a little
Right.
too on the nose. Who I'm gonna choose, which is an interesting character. Um, he is a character who, well, here I might be steering you a different route though, where you might think. He's a character developed by Rare, but um, his IP, like Rare didn't develop this IP. So I'm talking about Diddy Kong, because Diddy Kong is very interesting. Like Diddy Kong was created by Rare, but is a Nintendo character for all
Wow.
purposes. Um, Diddy Kong was created because they wanted a second player, and they're like, "Hey, Nintendo, is this cool? Can we do this?" And they're like, Sure." So now Diddy Kong is like an official Nintendo character. um, yeah, and like I love like Donkey Kong Country 2. It's behind me, and this stack of games. It's one of my favorite platformers of all time. That is the introduction, or not the introduction, but like that series is the introduction of Diddy Kong, because before we had Donkey Kong and we had Donkey Kong Jr. In the Rare universe. Uh, Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong from the old games, and then our Donkey Kong actually grew up to be Donkey Kong Jr. Or wait,
Wow.
other way around. Donkey Kong Jr. became Donkey Kong. So yeah, that's what happened there. So yeah, we got a new character who played with Donkey Kong, faster, more nimble. Um, he became his own for sure in Diddy's Conquest, with Dixie and all of that. But he also like now you can't think of him without like his jetpack or stuff like that from Donkey Kong 64. He's a character in Smash Brothers now. It's like similar like King K. Rool, something like that. But like yeah, like Diddy Kong is a very interesting character just in the fact of how he was developed, but also is still iconic to this day. Because like I can't think of many other characters where um, it's an official character, but someone else kind of just made it for them.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I did not know that. Look
Yeah,
at the facts I learned on the Get Out of Gaming Plus
yeah,
podcast. That's really cool. I had no idea. And you telling me about Cranky Kong, which was the original Donkey Kong, in Donkey Kong Jr. was, Junior is now Donkey Kong himself.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore and stuff to those. And then also a same thing, I used to watch the stupid CG French cartoon of Donkey Kong Country. Um, that was not a good show at all. But every episode had a musical number, and Donkey Kong was really good at singing. That's all. That's all I remember.
Well, I actually have a character. Now that I think about it, this character, um, I actually changed one out.
Oh.
You did, so I get to.
Mm.
So I am going to put. I'm not gonna tell you who I had before, but I took out this other character and put Mega Man.
Mm.
And the reason is uh, even for an NES game, the story is so well written about Dr. Light who creates these robots to help humanity, but Dr. Wily takes him over and turns him evil, and the only robot to save all of humanity is this worker robot he built to be like a son and be like to help in the lab.
Astro Boy.
Yeah, basically Astro Boy, but this character has to go and now save all of humanity from Dr. Wily. Uh, and he's evolved. Like I can tell you that I had the biggest geek moment when he was added to Smash Brothers
Yeah.
Ultimate, where they had that scene where they're all down there and they're fighting, and you see the scene, and you see this. All you see is this hair flowing, and you see the helmet, and you know who it is.
Yep.
Then he comes in there and starts kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah.
Uh, his character is awesome, and he's evolved there. I am not gonna lie and maybe say that I did order the Mega Man Complete series on DVD because they don't make it on Blu-ray.
By Discotheque. Discotheque did that.
Did they really?
Yep.
I'll have to look because this copy I can return anyway. But the cartoon was bad. They even
Yeah.
have an episode where X showed up. It was bad. But I love the character, and I think he is very iconic nowadays. And we even had Mega Man 10, which was a looking at Mega Man. They did some new mechanics,
Yeah.
but that's a Nintendo character that you will always see as well. You will always see a Mega Man.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a new Mega Man game in like a minute, but they've been re-releasing on next gen consoles the collections.
Yeah, they did ZX recently.
Yeah.
So, which honestly, those aren't my favorite.
They're not, but if you play the original Mega Mans, they are stupid hard.
Yeah, those are hard. Then they had the Mega Man X collections, and then I'm hoping for a Battle Network collection one of these days. That'd be excellent. Please just give it to us, please, Capcom.
Yes, come on, Capcom. I know you listen.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, what would be your next one? So far you've thrown me off. So not what I was expecting.
Have I really?
I afterwards when we're done, I'll tell you what I was thinking. But so far, I've not guessed anybody right yet. So
well, I have two on here who you probably can think of. And then I have one here where I just kind of thought of. I'm like, you know what? This is very iconic. I'm gonna throw one that you probably can know about. I gotta throw my boy in there. Throw Lucas into the ring from Mother 3.
Yeah.
Honestly, there are a lot of characters. Honestly, the whole cast of Mother 3 is my my favorites. I really like his father Flint a lot. His freak out in the beginning. Very emotional for a Game Boy Advance game. Just told by a cutscene is excellent. But yeah, just seeing Lucas have to deal with grief and all this other stuff while just trying to save the world, and it's always that kind of thing where it's just like, oh man, the kids have to save the day.
Yep.
But yeah, there's he's still a happy kid even in the end. Like he gets stuff done. He's still has his dog there. Even if he has stuff thrown at him, he still just keeps going forward. Yeah, Mother 3, without giving away too much, is there's a lot of turmoil and things that happen to Lucas and his family. Especially in the first chapter even there. But yeah, it's he's excellent. That's why I wanted to put him in there. There's a lot more I could say about him, but I don't really want to because game isn't really officially released, so I don't really want to spoil things, especially if it comes out this year. One can hope.
That's awesome. So this one won't surprise you at all. It's Commander Shepard from the Mass Effect series.
Mm-hmm.
Not Andromeda. Not Andromeda. And the reason is because Mass Effect 1 I never really played all the way through, but I did play through 2 and 3. And by 3, Commander Shepard is pretty much a certified badass.
Yeah.
He saved all of the universe in 1, which cost him his life. He is, spoiler, if you've not played these games from about 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
Then he comes back as they found him. They clone parts. He's part clone, part real, but he's with his own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
By 3, the entire universe is going to be destroyed by the Reapers. That trailer for 3 is one of the best trailers I've seen in the longest time, where you see the little girl playing, and then in her eye you can see the reflection of the Reaper coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Comes down, the whole earth is burnt, and he sees the plane she had, right?
Yeah.
She was playing with like a Normandy-like ship, and he puts it down as these husks are running towards him, and you just see his gun pop up, and then it's just like him going to town on everybody, including the giant mutants. Uh, his character is complex, and depending on how you play him, you could be like the greatest guy in the world, or you could be the most evil guy and intimidate everybody. Uh, and that's what I liked about him is like I always played like Captain America. I'll be honest,
Mm-hmm.
I played like Captain America, but he is one of my all-time favorite characters. Has the best backstory, and just it seems they could do a movie about this, but I hope they don't. I really hope they don't do a movie about it, unless they use the same guy that plays Commander Shepard's voice. So,
Hmm.
um, all right, Alex. So I guess one right. Let's see if I guess two right on your next one.
See, I don't know. I might throw one away again.
Oh, that's what kills me is when you throw one away because I know I'm right there.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many things that I want to talk about. I don't even have a Final Fantasy character in here, to be honest. Um, I was thinking about it, and that's why I'm kind of throwing stuff left and right because one that I thought of that isn't a Final Fantasy character. I guess I'll throw the curveball at you that you wouldn't have thought of at all. Um, it popped in my head earlier today. Very iconic. Doesn't get a lot of love anymore. Bomberman.
Oh, that is so true. So
Um,
true.
I really enjoy the old Bomberman games. I really enjoy Bomberman 64. Bomberman Hero is one of my favorite N64 platformers. Just because you get the jump button. You can jump in a Bomberman game. It's excellent. There's Bomberman Jetters, which is pretty fun on GameCube. And then there's I haven't played that latest one, but the one that came out on Switch and eventually everything else, the Bomberman Super Bomberman R. Um, but I remember being a kid and playing Bomberman 64 4 player with everyone.
That
And we would have like 6 people over, so we have to like switch out with like whoever lost or whatever, um, or whoever won would switch out, I guess. But yeah, it definitely was staple in households for multiplayer fun. You didn't really need to know how to play games. You just walk in like a top down perspective, and you just try to put bombs down, try to escape, and then throw bombs at other people. Bomberman 64 and Bomberman Hero, I feel like perfected a lot of the Bomberman aspects to it. They had pretty fun stages um, that eventually like shrank as it went through. If the timer went too long, but also when you died, you could float around in like this like little ship, and then you could throw bombs and just like mess with the people who were still playing. So you could like rig it so like someone else could win essentially. So you can make it so like, oh man, like you could have like I mean there were teams technically, like you could do teams if you wanted to. But even if you weren't doing teams, you'd be like, I want Johnny to win. So then you just help Johnny and just start beating down on Billy or whatever.
I remember those days of playing four people on N64.
Mm-hmm.
And it is somebody that we've not seen in a very long time. I don't own the uh, NES versions. Bomberman 2 on NES is like $200.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I own Bomberman. I own 3 Bomberman games. Um I used to own Jetters, but I don't own that anymore. That was a GameCube game. Um but I own Bomberman 64. I own Bomberman 64 2, the second attack, which is really expensive. And then I own Bomberman Hero. Um and each of those games is excellent. Second attack is very difficult, and I haven't really played a whole lot of it. Maybe that'll be a game I'll stream someday. I got that game for really cheap because of a friend. So,
Not cheap anymore.
well, like even when I got it, it wasn't cheap. But he was just this is a friend who moved to Japan, and he was just like, well, I know it's not, I know it's expensive or whatever, but he's like, you're gonna play it, you're not gonna sell it. and I'd rather just sell it to you for the price that I paid for it. So I was like, all right, cool. That's nice. So I
That
paid like $50-$60 for like a $300 game. So
that is pretty awesome.
yeah.
Well, my next one is obviously not one.
Which is your last one?
Well, I have two left.
Wait, two left.
Yeah, I've only done like
1,
three.
2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh yeah, because you made me first. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I can't think.
both of these are not going to be surprises. So I went with Master Chief from Halo. I enjoyed Halo 1, and the story was great. As the stories went on, it got a little weird. I have watched one episode of the Halo series. I have not watched the other episodes. I'm kind of waiting till they get done or closer so I can watch them all at once. But it makes Master Chief look pretty badass, in which he is. And you're talking about a guy that's been blown up twice. So uh, he is just an iconic character. Microsoft, that is their character, as where Sonic is Sega.
Yeah.
This is their character. And with Infinity, he plays fantastic in Infinity.
Mm.
Now, obviously, if you play multiplayer, you can't play as Master Chief, but you can make him look very close to Master Chief. And for the longest time, my character literally looked like Master Chief. But just an iconic character, and his story is so complex. Where, you know, the Spartans are like trained soldiers. You know, they're enhanced. They have all this stuff, and they're supposed to be listening to command. But Master Chief is like, nope, I'm gonna do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that's the coolest part with him and what his story is. So yeah, he is definitely on my list for top 5. All right, Alex, you got 2 more left.
I have one more left.
Oh yeah, you went first. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to make that hard decision, Alex, of who you gonna pick.
I threw someone away again, but I threw it to. I'm cheating. That's what I'm doing here. Originally on my list, I had Banjo-Kazooie, which were 2 different characters. I cheated, and they're not going to be on my list anymore because who I'm cheating, almost said cheating with. I'm not cheating with this character. I am using this character on my list. I almost made a bad joke. So I want to say another person. My lack of a better term, my heart says Roxas. I really want to say Roxas. He is my favorite character. But my body says Sora, which I mean Sora is Roxas, I guess. Like Sora is an iconic character. We've seen this boy grow. We've seen Haley Joel Osment become not just the kid from wow, I can't think of that movie now. All I think about is Artificial Intelligence now, which he was in. What's the movie? What's the movie with what's his face?
Because it's one of those M. Night Shyamalan
Yeah. Why can't I think of that?
It's got him and Bruce Willis and a weird Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
No, Wahlberg.
Yeah. Sixth Sense. Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
Okay. Yeah. You're just like, oh man, it's the kid from the Sixth Sense and like AI. This is interesting. And then it's Sora. Yeah, we've grown through this through his journey this whole time. We saw this kid go through puberty in his sleep. Because he woke up in 2 and he's like, oh, my clothes don't fit anymore. Gotta go to the 3 fairy godmothers over from Sleeping Beauty. But yeah, he is a very iconic character. He is stupid, but I don't necessarily think that makes him brave. I think he's just stupid. But eventually he does like he's very headstrong as well, and like that does help him along his way. Um, he is loyal. Um, he is good at fighting, honestly. And he has really cool powers and stuff too in each game. Like even the games that aren't super great, like he still has different things that he can do, different maneuverability. Like Dream Drop Distance introduced the flow motion, and that stuff is broken in that game, but I love it because how broken it is. You can just run everywhere, just keep jumping wall, jump wall, jump wall, and you're on the top of the skybox, and you can just glide around wherever you want to. It's so fun to break games like that. But like yeah, he's gone through a lot. Um, I will say here. But again, like I also wanted to pick, and that's why I kind of cheated. Like I want to pick Roxas as well because like Roxas is like the more depressing side of Sora, not being human, not knowing who you are, being a weird amalgamation of Sora and Ventus. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of things there, and just learning that you don't exist and then just accepting it is like okay,
Right.
okay, all right, sure. And yeah, it's just there's a lot of existential stuff and elements in that game, in two in particular. um but yeah, I have to go with those two kids. Mostly Sora, but I wanted to give the shout out to Roxas since they are the same character, but they're not.
Right. Well, and Alex gets this right when we were talking before. It is Nathan Drake from Uncharted. Talk about a guy that's grown from the first game where, you know, he is, with Sully, they're trying to find some stuff, run into trouble, all the way up to 4, where my favorite scene is where his brother pushes him off a waterfall and he's in the water and he gets up and he's just like, he's old. He
Mm-hmm.
can't do this anymore. But his he never gives up. He never knows when to quit. He kind of reminds me of a mixture of Indiana Jones with Jack Sparrow, to be honest.
Yeah,
You know, as where people are like, this Nathan Drake's nothing, and he's like, aha, I have foiled your plan and killed about 15 or 30 of your people. Uh,
which is crazy because they don't really talk about that stuff until 4,
yeah,
where because like you're just like, oh, he's Indiana Jones, he's doing things, he's stopping the bad guys, and then 4 years like, oh, he's killed a lot of people.
yeah, but so is Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think the best thing is me playing Uncharted was a PlayStation exclusive on 3. It's the first time I've played any game like that ever, where you're not, and it's like Tomb Raider, but to me it was better.
Mm.
There's puzzles, the shooting mechanics. You know, you can come and like punch somebody in the face and their gun flip in the air, and now you have their gun. All the way to 4, where you could do the Superman punch, which was awesome in bad
Yeah.
situations. Uh, so he's just a character that has evolved and grown, and yes, he is definitely one of my all-time favorite people or characters. And I have a signed copy of the guy that voices him, so now I feel complete. Um, yeah, well, that list was our top 5 characters of all time, very much so together. Last moment, I was expecting Alex to talk about Titus from Final Fantasy X, but it's okay.
I mean, Titus, according to Kingdom
Titus,
Hearts.
yeah, which he did, but it's okay. It's okay.
Titus and Waka. I will say really quick. I guess this is kind of newsworthy, but not really. Did you know that Utada Hikaru, like the woman who does like Simple and Clean and Sanctuary and all that stuff from Kingdom Hearts, she was at Coachella and she sang Simple and Clean
That showed up on like TikTok for me, and I
and
was
like
like,
all that other stuff. Like yeah, or don't think twice or whatever. Like she sang that the newest Kingdom Hearts 3 song too, and
yeah.
yeah, that showed up
I,
for me too.
I
Crazy.
was like, holy crap, she's at Coachella. That's crazy. Uh, that she was there. but listening to the crowd when she busted into that song,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone there knew it, which is crazy being at Coachella.
I'm gonna say though, honestly, it sounded like it was too loud, but it's also a high song. She was flat. She was a little bit flat on those notes, to be honest. But for that particular song, I don't know about the other ones, but it's just amazing to see her there and just jamming out with everyone. Um, yeah, because I love those songs. When I was younger, yeah, I would just listen to all those songs all the time. I
Oh
had
yeah,
I had the I had a CD that I got from like Amazon back when Amazon was still kind of new. um in like 2003, or not new, but like, it's not Amazon we have today. In like 2003 or so, like I ordered from Amazon, like, here's the CD and it's in the jewel case and everything. And I lost the jewel case. I don't know what happened to it. I still have the CDs. um
awesome.
but yeah, that was my tangent there.
Well, this has been the Get Out of Gaming Plus podcast, our weekly podcast where Alex and I talk about all things nerdy. This will drop on Wednesday in the morning, and then the video version will drop on Friday. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Our shout out of the week is Safety Tips for Gorillas. It's a different type of YouTube channel, but he really gave us a really good shout out to help us increase our YouTube, which is still growing. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
But he does some very creative stuff, and I may know him personally. I'm pretty sure that I'm his father, and so definitely go and add him just to kind of help him out. I know that he's almost at 2,000, or he hit 2,000 um, subscriptions. So yes. Other than that, we will be this Thursday. We will be streaming probably on Thursday at some point, and we will be hopefully watching commercials again.
Probably.
That was really fun for me, and
Yeah.
I know Alex enjoyed it as well. Uh, we did it once to kind of get a good idea. So yeah, we're kind of going to roll with that one until something comes up.
Um, yeah, I will say, and we'll probably do a Facebook post of this well, but if there are specific commercials, like what are your favorite video game commercials? Write in the comments, write in on Facebook and Twitter. We'll probably do, like I said, posts and stuff, because we like to watch those. There are a lot
Yeah,
of commercials and stuff that we don't necessarily remember. Like we remember some of them, like we watched last week, or a couple weeks ago, where it's like, oh yeah, the gross Yoshi's Island one with the guy who just eats a lot of food and explodes. Like I remember that, but then there's like other ones I'm just like, I didn't know this existed. This is really cool. So yeah, what are your favorite video game commercials and stuff? That then they can be American, they can be Japanese, whatever. Yeah, whatever country, just as long as they're interesting.
absolutely. And check us out there. Help us in there, and like always, download from your favorite podcast provider. And if there's, I don't have anything else. So I guess we can just say, get at it.
Get at it.